Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's math lesson. This math lesson is on fractions. It is lesson 10 for, wrong one. Lesson 10 for module 5. And today what we're talking about is I can compare unit fractions. Unit fractions are the base or the denominator of what you're talking about with fractions. So if you're talking about 1/2, you have 1/2. So the unit fraction there is halves. So you're looking at how to compare halves to fourths, halves to thirds. Normally when we do this, what we do is we use fraction strips. And I have fraction tiles, and you guys have fraction strips that kind of would look like this. And normally we would cut these out, we would color them, and then that way we could compare them. But because I don't want you to have to do that on your own, what we're going to do is I have actually these, and there's a link. I'm going to make sure you can get the link. It's called toytheater.com fraction strips, so that you can do this on your own if you choose. Now, I like this one because you can play with the tiles any way you want to, but it does get a little frustrating because it doesn't take up the whole strip, but that's okay. So when we're looking at fractions, we're looking at comparing the pieces of them. So this is one whole piece. Now I'm going to pull my halves up, and I can see here to make a whole I need 2 halves. Now I want you to pay attention to the denominator. That's your down number. That's the number that tells you how many parts of your whole, or how many in your whole. So I have 2 pieces in the whole here. So I'm going to take one of those out and compare them. So I can tell right here that 1 whole is greater than 1/2. So I'm going to take that one out, and I'm going to compare a third. So I have a half here, and I have a third. So do you notice a pattern? Actually, I put this one up here too. Are we noticing a pattern as our denominators get bigger? What's going on with our size of our pieces? Let me put a fourth up there. Do we notice that the bigger the denominator, something is happening to our pieces? Well, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. When you're dividing fractions into pieces, the bigger the group of people or the group you're going to divide it into means the smaller the piece. So think about it like a candy bar. If you have a candy bar and you're dividing amongst you and 2 of your friends, you and 2 of your friends would be 3 people. So you're going to divide that candy bar into as equal as thirds as possible, because you're being a good friend and you're being fair. Now for me, if you had to divide it amongst everybody who is in our class, you'd have to divide it into 12ths. So you'd have to divide it into very small pieces. So if you are dividing things into fractions, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. So with today's math lesson, we're going to be comparing what is greater than, less than, and equal to when it comes to fractions. So right now, I have my 12ths up. I'm going to compare a 12th to a third. So when I'm looking at this, I look at my third and I look at my half, and I can see that 1/3 is greater than 1/2. If I want to compare something else, I'm going to do, how about let's try an 1/8 and a 4th. When I look at these two, I can see that 1/8 is less than 1/4. It would actually I need another one to make them equal to. So when you're looking at fractions, remember when you're comparing them that 1/4, or that the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson. I'm going to go ahead and do the lesson with the paper so that you can kind of see it. If you have your module 10 lesson page, feel free to follow along, or just do it with a pencil and paper if you choose. I hope you enjoyed your lesson today.